right, so we are live, and the bad news is that I can see that we have signal issues. So I don't know how this is going to go. We've got all sorts of challenges in this accommodation. I tried to start from downstairs in the common area, but there is absolutely nowhere to plug into live. So we're doing it from the room, and hopefully this will go okay. Hopefully the signal will be fine. All right, so if anyone's joining later, my name's Lynn, and we are embarking on what's known as forest bathing here today. I can see that there are 5 people just joined. Please give me a wave, say hello, let me know who's joined in the comments. And when we actually start, I probably won't engage, well, I won't engage in any chat during the actual forest bathing part of this event. Hi, Dawn. Great to see you. So there are signal issues. I can see that it's bouncing around a little. Hi, Natalie. Great to see you. And we've got our fingers crossed. The modem for the Riad is downstairs in the living room area, and but there's no power. There's no power plug down there. So I've got the computer plugged in next to the bed, and we are sitting on the bed. So let's all hope that everything goes well. So what we're doing today is, when we were in Cologne, we were living very close to a beautiful forest area, and every morning I would get out there and go for a walk. And I decided that this was the perfect place to go back and actually record forest bathing. The signal didn't permit me to do it live in the forest there, but I did go back and record it. Now, I was a little out of practice, so I didn't do the full half hour that I normally do. Hi, Natasha. Great to see you. Looking forward to this before I go babysit a new 8-year-old girl today. And Dawn, Natalie, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Great to see you. So as I said, I can see the signal bouncing around. And Gregory, hi, ready to bounce. Excellent. I'm glad you're ready to bounce. So for those who haven't joined me for forest bathing what is it? It's a meditation practice that started in Japan during the 1980s, when technology was having a huge impact on Japanese workers and Japanese way of life. Hi, Michelle. Great to see you. I'm so glad to finally catch up to you on your world tour. This one's going to be a little bit different, Michelle, because I won't actually be talking on the here live with you once the recording starts. All my narration has already happened as I guide you through the forest. So what I invite you to do, and there will be some recap as I start the recording, what I invite you to do is to try and use all your senses. Imagine that you are in my shoes. Imagine that you are feeling what I'm feeling, hearing what I'm hearing. Try and imagine that you can smell the forest, and I try to impart all my senses. No taste today. We didn't actually taste anything, but of all the 5 senses, we try and explore our feelings and being immersed and surrounded by the forest. That's all I can really tell you. It's called Shinrin-Yoku in Japan, and it's a way of getting close to nature and healing through being close to nature. So why don't we get started? And I'll let the forest do the talking. All right, let's do this. I'm going to bring up the screen here, and then we'll get started. Hi there, it's Lynn here, and today you find me in the forest. We are going to go forest bathing. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, so forgive me if I appear to be a little out of practice. What's forest bathing for those who haven't done it before? Well, it's a kind of mindfulness, or cross between a mindfulness and a meditation, I guess. It's unstructured. It originated in the 1980s in Japan as a response to the tech-heavy lifestyles that Japanese workers were facing, and the government or the health industry recognised that it was having a significant impact on workers' health. So they came up with the idea of forest bathing, which is simple, really. It's the Japanese name for it is Shinrin-Yoku, And basically it just means getting out in the forest, getting out in the fresh air, getting in touch with nature. The main way that we go about it is by really slowing down and being conscious of everything around us, being aware of our presence and our surroundings. And while I guide you on this forest bathing experience, I invite you to imagine yourself in my situation. Imagine you are feeling what I'm feeling, that you're hearing what I'm hearing, and that you're seeing what I'm seeing. All right, so let's go forest bathing. So as we enter the forest, it's immediately significantly cooler. We're starting to feel the autumn temperatures take hold. I'm aware of my feet walking on moist, sandy, gravelly ground. I feel the occasional presence of a stone or a rock underneath the soles of my feet. And I can feel the coolness on my face as I walk. There's no breeze. I pause to listen to the forest. The dominant colouring of the forest, of course, is green, but in a multitude of shades of green. And emerging from the green, the tall, vertical trunks of the trees in various shades of brown through grey, right through to black. The sun makes its presence felt in between the trunks of the trees. Now here, now gone. I become aware of a noise overhead. Of course, we are close to urban life and can't avoid the interruption caused by the presence of an aircraft, but I focus instead on the sound of a bird. I pause to look more closely at the moss on the ground. And inspect the colour, the different shades of green, and feel its softness. In amongst the trees, I've suddenly spotted something man-made, unexpected. Does it have a purpose? Or is it just a collection of branches piled together in one place? Who knows? And we come across the lichens on the bark of the tree in shades of blue and green. I listen once more to the sound of the forest, the birds. Birds I don't know. I'm in a different country. I don't recognise these calls. A whisper of breeze touches my face. It's cool. I notice what may be a watercourse. I suspect it fills with water at times of rain. And I wonder what life congregates in this space. Frogs, perhaps? The ground beneath my feet changes slightly, with more gravel present, and I listen to the crunching of my footfall on the path as I walk. I notice a different trunk of a tree, very textural. Unfortunately, it's just a little too out of reach for me to get up close and feel it. But you can see the texture of the bark. And it disappears above my head. I reach a meeting of ways and must choose in which direction to continue. The green is broken with shades of orange as autumn approaches and makes its presence felt. I notice a flower I'm not familiar with and pause to take a closer look. It's almost fluffy. I don't know this flower at all. Suddenly I'm aware of ferns. And slow to look at the shape, the contrast in shape between the ferns and the surrounding undergrowth. And listen once more to the sound of the birds. Mosses increase in size and number. And once again, the sunlight filters through the forest canopy and touches on the different colours of the autumn leaves appearing spasmodically amongst the green of the forest. I pause to inspect more closely the texture of a dead branch. Death is just as important as life in the forest as it feeds new growth. Tiny fungi appearing on the surface. The trail has returned to a sandy texture. My footfall's almost silent now, but still ever so slightly audible. I continue along the trail as the sun brightens the path. The colour of the leaves are brighter now, highlighted by the sun. The gravel of the path has become more prominent. And I'll stop to notice the colour contrast of the light on the moss at the base of this beautiful tree. Surrounded by ferns, and then looking off in between the trees to see how far my vision can penetrate into the depths of the forest. The calls of the birds ever present. I pause to check the shape of the leaves. Feel the texture. Smooth, with a slight harshness to the periphery. And looking from the underside with the sun, the light shining through from above. The forest opens. And reveals an open expanse of ferns and bracken. And here we have a big old grandfather of the forest. Once again, civilization intrudes on our peace as we walk, but it will soon pass. And we have another crossroad. I make a decision. I decide we'll turn right. I pause to investigate another plant I'm unfamiliar with an unusual shape. Is it a seed pod? Is it a flower? I'm uncertain. I discover a hidden trail. I'm curious to see where it leads. and at once we're beneath the shelter of the canopy. A darker forest. With twigs and leaves beneath our feet. Little stumps scattered about, covered in moss, and small branches trying to entrap my legs and feet. Oh, I spy a mushroom. And evidence of insects at work. Suddenly the sun highlights one particular tree, a dead tree, but almost shining like a beacon. I smell the air. It's fresh. There's no definite scent or aroma, but it's just a smell of freshness. Has our path been blocked? Do we venture across? Our way's been hindered by an obstacle. Do we venture? Do we venture forward? Evidence of small streams crisscross the forest. In times of rain, this area must be full of water. I carefully pick my way through the muddy terrain. Innumerable mounds of leaves soften the path as we walk. The lane leads slightly uphill with a slight incline. Evidence of some kind of wild animal, we suspect. Wild pig, digging, perhaps. And more digging around this old tree stump. It's an impossible shade of green. Emerald green, the mosses. Once again, I feel the desire to touch and feel the texture. And see what lies underneath. I'm fascinated. I spy a contrasting colour, teeny tiny berries emerging from this clump of moss. Is it an interloper? A different plant? I have no idea what it is. And the path continues to gradually rise, a slight incline ahead of us. I see the shadowy movement of a person walking through the forest up ahead, and I decide that this is where I will finish. So I just added in a few more images that I took on the day. Apologies for the signal, everyone. As I said, I'm not near the not near the modem. The modem's downstairs, but there's no power downstairs, and I can see that the signal let me down. What I'll do is I'll upload the recording to YouTube so that you can get to see it again. Did you enjoy it? I confess I was out of practice. Oh, thanks, Tish. Yeah, it was very green, wasn't it, Gregory? I'm glad you enjoyed it, Artie. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was calm and serene and perfect temperature and just beautiful walking through that forest. It was delightful. So what I'm going to try and do is, if I do have the opportunity to walk through a forest, I will take advantage of it. I don't always have that opportunity. In Vietnam, surprisingly, we didn't have that opportunity, or all through Southeast Asia. So Germany presented itself, the opportunity presented, and I took advantage of it. Thank you, everyone, so much. And I'm really glad you enjoyed it. That's encouraging. And I will definitely try to do more of those whenever I can. And so we are in Morocco, as you probably all know. Tomorrow's morning, Where Am I Wednesday? Obviously, I've given the game away as in which country, but you don't know exactly where I'll be. And I'm just loving it. It's gorgeous here. It's amazing. But we are actually located right in the middle of the Medina, which is just fascinating, just incredible. So many sights and colours to see. So if you can join me for that tomorrow morning, please do. I look forward to seeing you all there. What else have we got coming up? I am going back into the Medina at night or at evening, a couple of days later, and then of course next Wednesday we'll be in a different part of the country. So where am I Wednesday next week? Won't be here. It'll be somewhere else. So hopefully you can join me for all of those. And yeah, in the meantime, check out the calendar, look up all the other guides tours, support them as well. We're really trying to build a community. So your help and your input and you spreading the word is what we all need to make that happen. Gregory says, thankfully you weren't deterred from exploring the woods by tales of Hansel and Gretel or Red Riding Hood. We did see a little house. It was a little like Hansel and Gretel's. That was before we actually went live, or before I started recording. It was a little Hansel and Gretel like. And Inga, are you in our group, Going Places Virtually? That's where you'll see us posting our tours and on the live stream events calendar. So I don't think I have them in my description here. We're obviously on Facebook. I can't remember where I've seen you in our communities, Inga, but keep an eye out for Going Places Virtually and live stream events. That's where you'll find us. Okay, everyone, I'm going to finish up here and thank you again. See you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.